Oh my goodness, he's doing really good with his food luring into down night and day. He's definitely got it. He's got what we call that light bulb moment. So if you haven't already started naming this as down, you totally could. And so usually that process, whoops, that process looks like us saying the word down. And I'm going to give him a second to kind of wait and see if he offers something, and then show him. Good. And now I'm going to also get in the habit of releasing him out of that down every time if we haven't already started doing that as well. So I can either use my release word. Generally, we're using something like okay, or done, or break, or you can release him from behavior with your clicker. So we're going to kind of reset for a second. We're going to say down. Give him a second. And of course, he's too close to me to do the behavior, but that's okay. So now we're going to show him. Good. Ooh, he's got gas. He's sticky. So he should start to pair what he's hearing with what he's doing. Although I find, and I think in his case where he's a bulldog as well, he's not going to get that verbal down until we get the food out of the picture, and he has to use his brain more. Because with the food kind of present, he's going to have a hard time really thinking about what he's doing or offering a behavior. So we'll explain that process, but for right now, we can just start to kind of down. Ooh, close. And now I'll show him. Good. Okay. Perfect. All right. So now we're going to add in some duration. So we want him to be able to do this behavior until we release him and start to have him do it for longer periods of time. We'll also want to practice it from a standing position. We want the ability to have him hold a down while we walk away, turn around, pick something up, drop something on the floor. So we call that proofing, or what we call the 3Ds. So when we are proofing a behavior, we want to add distance, duration, and distractions. Down. Good. Yay for you. All right, so what I'm going to do, okay, in this next rep to build up some duration is I'm going to get a nice handful of food. And I'm going to say down. Show him. Good. Good reward marker. Good. So, good. Good. I'm having a high rate of reinforcement right now. So my rate of reinforcement, which is like the speed in which we're feeding him, good, is going to be very high. So if I'm doing a treat for every 1.5 seconds, okay, perfect. I can start to taper that down. So in the next rep, I'm going to see if I can space that out just a little bit more. I'm going to back you up a little bit. Down. Show him. Good. Good. And I want to catch him before he kind of learns that it's like, oh, I don't want to accidentally reward him for shifting forward, trying to get to the food. Good. So he's nice and still, and that's the moment I want to capture. Good. Okay. Perfect. Whoop, you cannot dive into that bag of food, my friend. So the other thing I would recommend is doing your training sessions on leash. He's not on a leash right now. That is my mistake because we don't want to accidentally have him nab this bag. So I'm just going to have to be a little bit more careful with this bag because I don't want him to get a self-reinforced for grabbing this bag of treats and getting a whole mouthful or something like that. All right, so we're going to start to do this from a standing position as well. We're going to say down. That's the opposite of what we want. I'm just going to kind of push him off me. Good. Now I'm going to show him. Good. So when we change our position here and we go from, being right close to him in a stand or in a sitting position and now we're standing, I'm going to expect him to do a little bit less well at this. Good. Less good. There we go. Good. 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 Okay. Perfect. I'm going to do a couple of those. I don't know if these treats are going to help your gas. Down. Show him. Good. 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 Oops, I dropped one. Nice. He wasn't inclined to get up and chase that. Good. So I want to start to paint this picture of he's in this down and I'm standing here. Good. And he's waiting for food to be delivered to him. Good. Okay. Perfect. All right. So the next step, and I would actually recommend practicing this a couple times. So for one or two training sessions, just work on what we just did. Obviously, with our time together, I kind of want to pack in as much as I can, but puppies especially really need to like marinate. They need to learn one thing at a time, and patience is really great to have. So doing very short 5 to 10 minute sessions sprinkled throughout the day is much better than trying to cram it all in like math homework, which is kind of like what we're doing right now. So we're going to do this again, and now we're going to introduce the next marker, which would be the no reward marker. This is the word or sound we're going to indicate to indicate you have made a mistake. Go back to doing what you were doing before. It shouldn't be punitive, so Rocket shouldn't hear it and go like, oh no, I messed up. So it's not the word that we use if he's stealing a meatloaf off the counter. It's just the word or sound that we want to say like, whoops, that's the wrong answer. Go back. So usually we're saying something like oops, or no. We just want to make sure that it's a very neutral sounding tone. So we're going to say down. And I want to give him, oh, he's actually, I think he's close to having the answer. Yeah, he is. Good. Perfect. So we're going to start to do those 3Ds that we talked about before. I'm going to kind of add some distance, or in this case, some duration. So right when he pops up, I'm going to say, and I'm going to use my food to get him back into position, but I'm not going to feed him. Good. Now I'm going to feed him. Good. Okay. Perfect. So we're talking about using food, you missed that, as a pressure. When we're using food as a pressure, it usually looks like a food lure, but the difference is that when we're food luring, we're letting them nibble, 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 and ultimately we feed them when they get into the position we're trying to lure them in. When we're using food as a pressure, we're not going to give them the food. We're using it to grab that position that they already kind of know a little bit well, but we're not going to feed them right away. I want to make sure that I wait and make sure that the dog's kind of married to being in that position before I use the food as a reward. So using food as a pressure, using food as a lure, and using food as a reward are all kind of 3 different things, but they can all look the same. And that's a nuance that is really important to kind of know. So we're going to say down, down, and you can repeat the command as you do it. That's fine. Good. Good. So my rate of reinforcement is still pretty high, but it's starting to be a little bit less. So right here I'm going to say and I'm going to get him back into that position, but I'm not going to feed him. Good. I kind of want to I want to repeat whatever it was that I did, which was I think a little bit of a backward step. Good. Oh, So we're going to repeat, and I have not fed him that piece of food yet. Which is confusing. He's like, oh, maybe I missed it. Good. I'm going to back up. Good. I'm going to back up. Good. So when we make a couple of mistakes in a row, I'm really, really trying to find a way to reinforce him quickly. Good. I'm going to back up. Good. Oh, almost. Good. I'm going to do that again. So he didn't get it fed right in that rep, but now he does. Good. Okay. Good job. We're going to reset. Down. By golly, you're so close. Down. And this is kind of what we're talking about when I was mentioning letting it marinate, because we're going to start to lose progress a little bit here. He's a bit confused. So we're going to try to, good. Oh, yep. So we're losing a little bit of our momentum here. Down. Whoops. So if this happens in your training session, the puppy just becomes very confused and it seems like we're sliding backwards. It's good to kind of reset, and it's okay when this happens. It will happen. It happens to me, obviously. But we really want to avoid this part, this juncture, when possible. So one of the mantras you'll hear in dog training, or you might hear me say, is no more, one more time. So when you have a really good rep of something, that's really kind of where you want to cap it. You want to have lots of really awesome, I'd rather have 5 amazing perfect reps than 25 reps of something where some were great, some were and some were like, did we even learn anything? So it's really important to make sure that you ended on a high note. Let's see, and I think he's getting full. So I'm going to try to just kind of salvage this a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Good. 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 Okay. You did it! All right. That's exactly how that should look. So I'm going to put a pin in it. We'll pick this up later. We're going to let that marinate. We're going to see if he needs some water and a nice potty, and then we'll have a play session. Good job, Rocket.